Production costs are covered by a partnership with United Healthcare and the National Foster Parent Association. We receive no federal or state funding and depend on our constituents and viewers to help us achieve our goals to provide support and services that meet identified needs within our mission. We would like to welcome the viewers of Coffee with Caregivers to the family. The National Foster Parent Association offers several membership opportunities for individuals, child placing agencies, and state and local affiliates. You can join today or donate at nfpaonline.org.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Caregivers. Well, today is a very special day for me in particular, and I hope for Arnie. As you see, Arnie Eby is sitting beside me there, and he's our guest today. Today is my last day to do Coffee with Caregivers, the last episode for me before I retire, and I'm having a lot of mixed emotions about that, of course, because I enjoy all of our guests so much, and I truly love communicating with caregivers and those who support caregivers across this country on a regular basis. You know, it's Christmas time. It's a time for good cheer, and we recognize all the blessings that we have just pouring down on us all the time. Even sometimes we don't recognize them as blessings, but they usually wind up being in the long run. I think Arnie's experienced that as well in his lifetime, as most of us have. I changed my background a little bit today in my little apartment just to try to show the love and the feelings of joy that I have for the future. Not just for myself and my family, as I have more time for them, but for Arnie and the National Foster Parent Association. We've had 50 years of incredible work, incredible support, work with the most amazing people in this country, the foster families, kinship families, and adoptive families, and all of those people who work so hard to support them in whatever way they can. But we're entering a new 50 years, and I say we because I'll always be a part of NFPA. I'll always be a member and a supporter, and hopefully a volunteer in some ways as well. But we're starting new 50 years in this next year, and it's time to kind of think about what we want to do, right? What do you as caregivers need from the National Association? So Arnie's going to spend some time this morning kind of talking to you about who he is, where he comes from, his background, how he got to be here as a not only as a foster parent, but as executive director of the National Foster Parent Association, officially starting the 1st of January. And I think that we're going to talk and ask you about what is it you need. And we'll ask you to send us an email and with some information about what you see, the kind of supports and services a national advocacy organization can do for you. So Arnie, it's an honor to have you with me today. It's more of an honor to call you my friend. I'm just so excited about the future of NFPA under your leadership. So how about telling folks a little bit about yourself?
Well, good morning, and Irene. I was expecting you to talk a little bit about your cup, because you've opened so many of these Coffee with Caregivers with a coffee cup, right, and I expected that it was going to say "I'm retired" or "See you later" or something like that. So I prepared a few cups that I'm going to talk about to help talk a little bit about who I am. But my first cup says Foster Love, and it's from the Washington County Department of Social Services. Washington County, Maryland is where my wife Donna and I have been foster parents for the last 22 years. So, but this cup is from the Washington County Department of Social Services. Thank you for allowing us the incredible opportunity to foster. And the second cup then is from the Maryland Department of Social Services, DHS, and all the 17 plus years that I've worked with them, Washington County sent me 17 years ago as a liaison to a focus group that Department of Human Services was doing. And from there, the rest starts to be history. From that focus group, we had the Maryland Resource Parent Association, and that's where I've been involved for quite a few years, and where I learned to know about NFPA. And I don't know, I searched a while this morning for this cup, but I did find it, thankfully. And it comes from quite a few years back, I think, maybe a conference that I was able to attend. Here's a cup that comes from, that's very, very hard to read, but it says World's Best Foster Dad. It came from one of our foster kids who brought it home from school. Over the years, the ink has faded. It has become smudged, but it still is in my cup collection. So as I think about that, I think the cup that matters the very most is this one. I was given it at one point in my career as a foster parent. It says, "I don't remember signing up for this." So, the handle's
Oh
broken.
my God, Arnie, that's perfect.
The handle's broken, but I think it probably means the very, very most. And as I think about the journey from being a foster parent 22 years ago, through all the kids and guests that we were able to interface with as they came in and out of our home, kids in care, social workers, it was an incredible journey. And so that's all part of it. But then to the work at the state level, and then getting to interface with the National Foster Parent Association at conferences, and then on committees, the conference committee, the public policy committee. But I guess, the things that matter are all those relationships, all those connections. But a smudged cup that says the world's best dad, it has just as much or more meaning than any of those. But as I think about the final cup, I don't remember signing up for this. I'm not putting coffee in it. The handle's broken. But 22 years ago, when we signed up to be foster parents, I didn't know that I was signing up for this day. 17 years ago, when I went to the state task force representing Washington County, I didn't realize I was signing up for today. When the Maryland Resource Parent Association started sending resource parents to national conferences, and I interfaced with NFPA, I didn't know that I was signing up for today. And the same thing with committees and all those work. I didn't know that I was signing up for today. However, that's the way life is. We start on a journey. We say yes. We say yes to this. We say yes to, as foster parents, to a new placement. We say yes to inconvenience. We say yes to not going everywhere we had gone previously. We said yes to not be invited to certain events because the kids that you have don't fit or may have some kind of acting out, or and it's their way of communicating to us that the situation doesn't make them feel comfortable. Something there is a trigger. Something gives resurrects a memory or a situation that didn't turn out well for them. So all those things, because of those things, we say yes to exclusion. We say yes to pain. We say yes to some things that aren't comfortable. But at the same time, as this little journey of cups says, we say yes to a new world. We say yes to a new set of friends. If I had never started this journey, I would never have met Irene. I would not have met Liesl in the way that I have, who is hosting our program today. I wouldn't have met all the wonderful members of the board of directors who are my friends and who have very unique experiences relative to their time being a foster, adoptive, or kinship parent. So although we say yes to leaving some things behind, we say yes to an incredible new world of people that we encounter, of people who have unique experiences that we can make part of our own. So I'm happy to be here today. I'm excited about being the new executive director for the National Foster Parent Association. But as I said before, 22 years ago, 17 years ago, I don't know how many years ago it was that I started going to NFPA conferences, maybe somewhere 12 to 15 years ago. None of those times did I realize that I was signing up to fill such big shoes. So thank you for having me today. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for walking with me as I start this new journey. So,
well, Arnie, all those years ago when we met, there was something about you that just kind of stood out. I knew you were a leader. Obviously, you were a leader in your state at that time and a very effective one. But I could tell that your potential was for more than that. Never in a million years did I ever dream either that I would ever serve, even on a board of directors on a national organization, right? Much less be its president for a while and then become its executive director. I just, God has plans for us that we can't even imagine. And I think that, going with the flow and listening to what our heart and our mind and soul are telling us is the next step, is what we're supposed to be doing. And I know that's how I've approached my life and my career, such as it is. But, I was reading last night on Facebook, a foster parent wrote in on one of the foster parent pages. And I love to be a part of those if I can get on them and just listen, read and feel what the foster parents are saying. And this one just hit me so hard yesterday evening. And it was about, because we haven't fostered since 2002. We fostered for 27 years and 127 kids during that time. But since 2002, we haven't fostered because my life changed. We moved, we didn't have a support system, and I got more into this national work. And this foster parent said, we never knew what we were signing up for. We had no idea how it was going to change our lives. And I'm concerned sometimes about what it's doing to our own children. But then I see my children asking, when do we get our next new baby? When are we going to get a kid my age? So third grade, right? That kind of thing. And they're joyful about having children join the family. And he said, we got to the point where some other things happened in our life, and we've had to stop fostering, at least for a while. And he said, my wife and I thought that we would be happier somehow. And I'm using my words, not his, but this is what he was saying, happier somehow. That we didn't have extra child or children in the family. We didn't have caseworkers coming over. We didn't have our time spent working with their parents, right, towards reunification, that we were going to just have this big relief. And he said, that's not what we're experiencing. We're grieving because we're missing that extra child or children. It's been there for so many years, and it's a part of who we are. And he said, I think that all of our rest of our days, we're going to be missing those extra children, those kids who come in and made us better, helped us as a family grow to be kinder, to more compassionate, more empathetic, all the things that I wanted for our children. They've learned through fostering. And I just thought, so I talked to my husband about it after I read it. And he said, I guess we really haven't talked about it that way over all this time. But I kind of feel the same way. It's like, so when are they going to call? When are we going to be asked to do this again? Isn't there a child who needs us? And I know that y'all are wrapping up your fostering days too, because I can guarantee it's really, really hard to do that sort of thing and be responsible for a national organization. And so, but you're going to have some of those times when, even though there's some feeling of relief sometimes because some of the kids were, pains in the butts, but they still were part of your family. You welcomed them in, right? You did everything you could to help them figure out their trauma, what they needed, how to get happy again, how to put it where it needs to go and move forward. And I miss that. I miss challenging teenagers. I mean, can you believe it? The last 10 years we had teenagers, and it was like, are we crazy? And yet I truly, truly enjoyed them. Even though I got cussed out more than I got nice things said to me probably over the whole 10 years. But we could communicate. We could make a difference. We could affect what they thought about their futures. That's what foster parents do, but that's what the National Foster Parent Association wants to nurture in people, right? To help them understand how important their role is, not only at the time, but for that child, every child they've had for the rest of their lives. Because we know, those of us who fostered a long time, have kids come back that we had 15, 20 years ago, touch base with us, introduce us to their families, talk to us about what it meant to be a part of the family. But that's where they learned how to be in a family, what a family was, what nurture really looked like. We've had those experiences. And so many times our families now don't last long enough, right? They don't get enough tenure to get to experience some of those wonderful things that can come up later on that help reaffirm to you that all of the sleepless nights, the worrying about a runaway, oh my God, the kid broke 2 more windows, right? Whatever it is, whatever that is, our car insurance got canceled for the second time, the second company, because of teenagers needing to learn to drive, right? But we were willing to stick our neck out there and make that happen for them because it needed to happen for them, or their life beyond foster care was not going to be as good as it needed to be. So I'm hoping that as people listen to us today and as they view this video in the future, on our website or on YouTube or back on Facebook, that, they'll really want to communicate with the National Foster Parent Association about what they're experiencing in their life and in their locale and in their state. And what is it that needs to happen that National Association can help affect to make fostering better for them and for their families. So I think with your new role moving forward, that's going to fall on you to be the ears of NFPA, because the emails will probably come to you, phone calls will come to you on the toll call, our 800 number, those kinds of things. And you're going to be hearing from people that most oftentimes have a serious problem, right? Functioning with the system functioning, not getting information, legal system that doesn't seem to be keeping the best interests of kids in care in priority. I mean, all the stuff. Occasionally I get an email saying, yay, this is what's happened, or a call that does that too, and those are ones to just embrace because they don't come often enough. And I wish people would share all the good times too, because it's hard listening to how things are not working out right with individual cases. But we can't really affect those. We have to send them back to their state, right, to help get those kinds of situations remedied locally. But we can do a lot on the national level. We can have a lot of influence in Washington, D.C. We can help all the states get information they need, figure out how to implement things in their state, how to get people to listen to what the needs are of the caregivers in their state. So Everybody has their own experience in becoming a foster parent and the whys that they become foster parents. And I've relayed before, we found out we couldn't have any children biologically, and that it was a devastating blow to both of us. And that as a person of strong faith, I got angry at God, because how could you do this to two people who wanted a big family, right? And to us, a big family meant 3 or 4 kids. And so, I moped around for a month or so. And when walking past the mantle one day, I guess it was God's voice saying, open your Bible, because my Bible was always on the mantle. And I went, and walked on and did whatever chore I was going to do. And I came back and walked back by there, and it said again, Irene, you better stop and open this Bible. Well, okay. So I just opened that book like that. I mean, literally. And this verse looked this big, Arnie, and it said, and he will take the barren woman and make her the happy mother of many children. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Last verse of Psalm 113. That changed my life. Totally changed my life. None of us know what's going to change our life, what direction it's going to send us in. I was a pre-med major in college. I had no thoughts of doing this kind of thing. But that led to, okay, we're not going to have a family the old-fashioned way. We're going to figure out how to do that, right? And so we're going to adopt and look at foster care. And that's what we did. Now we have 23 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, another one on the way. 5 kids, four spouses for those 5 kids. I mean, what more could we ever have dreamed of? Far beyond any dream Bill and I ever had about what this family would look like. And believe me, when I started wrapping Christmas presents this year for 43 people, which is what I had to wrap for this year, it all hit home again, because it's like, we got to stop doing this. Next year, nobody over 18 is getting a present, right? So this is too much. Anyway, I digress. But, where would we have been in 1971? Actually, it was 73, when we first adopted our first child in 71 from a private agency, and in 73 became foster parents. And where would we have been if that hadn't happened? Would we have become foster parents if we had children biologically? I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. But I don't even go there anymore, because I just know that I'm far blessed, way beyond anything that I deserve, and way beyond anything that we could have ever imagined. And I know you've talked a little bit about your beginnings as a foster parent and how that happened. And I'd love it if you'd kind of share that with folks, if you don't mind.
Well, my story is just a little different than yours. And I have shared this with other people before, and my wife will also confirm it. When we were in the process of getting our counsel to get married, I didn't want any kids. And so as part of the solution, she said she definitely wanted a family. We agreed not to discuss it for 5 years. I occasionally see the pastor who counseled us and married us, and he kind of laughs and he'll say, "How many kids are in your house today?" At about the 5-year point, our oldest daughter, Hannah, was born. And a few years later, our daughter, Amanda, was born. And 3 years after that, we started the journey to foster care. At some point after we got married, my wife did share, not only did she want a family, she had always dreamed of having an orphanage. And so I'm not sure why she didn't disclose that completely up front. But anyway, I asked her mother about it, and she said, I don't know, but it's too late now. You're stuck with her. So anyway, we started the journey. We did talk about becoming involved as she wanted to do some foster care, and she was doing some voucher daycare things as a way to make connections to the community. And when she was signed up to do the foster parent training, the spouse had to go at least to one training. So I thought I went to the first one. She says I went to the second one. So I guess it really doesn't matter, because I went to all the rest of them after that. And then started the journey through fostering and subsequently adopting 4 children from foster care. So I went from no kids to 6 kids who are part of our family, and 130 plus who have been part of our family in other ways, sometimes for a day, sometimes for multiple years. So it has been a fascinating journey. I think about, and as I look at your Christmas decorations and gifts behind you, I think about something from a few years ago that helps me also understand why it is we do this. I had been at a Christmas party one day and shaking hands with a lot of people, and it was a festive event. And I got home that night and was sitting in my chair. I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. Hopefully it stops soon. But so when I finished that event, I was sitting here close to where I'm at right now, and I was tired and kind of exhausted, and I was contemplating the event and how holidays stress us out, etc. And that's not really what it's about. And then, just like a minute or two ago, the phone rang, and it was Child Protective Services. They were at the Washington County Hospital. They had 2 children there whose mother had brought them in that evening and was trying to admit them for psychiatric care. When the hospital caseworker mentioned that they thought maybe the mother needed help instead of the kids, the mother bolted. So here it is, 9 o'clock or so on a Friday night. I get a call and go to jump up and head to the hospital to pick up these children. And I brought them home. Their shoes were rotted on their feet. Their clothes were dirty and disrepair. So first thing, we got them baths, and then got their clothes in the washer so they would have something familiar to put on the next morning, and put their shoes outside so that and sprayed them down so that they would be hopefully usable the next day. And then probably after doing all those things, it's probably 3 hours or so later, and I'm sitting back down in the same chair. And then I realized what it is that Christmas is all about, what it is and why we foster, why we care so deeply, because we get the incredible opportunity to give. We get the opportunity to fill a gap, to be there when somebody needs it. These children, it wasn't their fault. They needed somebody to stand in. And after all the festivities, all the craziness of a holiday day, we still got the chance. I still got the chance to give. I got the chance to love. I got the chance to make a difference. That's what fostering has meant and done for me, for my wife, my daughters, and our family. It has changed the way we see the world. As I move to this role, and as I think about connecting, I need those kind of experiences. I need those memories. I need the stories of your experiences. I need to hear from the people who continue to love, continue to fill those gaps, continue to give on a daily basis. At the national level, we will need those stories. We need those experiences. We need the positives. We need the negatives. But through that, we can connect people. We can connect the good and the bad. We can help find meaning. We can continue to build a path toward meaningful connections and making a difference. And so I hope that I look forward to the next years. I look forward to doing my best to fill your shoes. And most of all, I look forward to having the incredible opportunity to connect with people who care deeply about not, and I've said this many times, I care deeply about the people who care for Maryland's kids. Now I will be saying I care deeply about the people who care for America's kids.
That's right. Yeah, a big responsibility, Arnie, but one I know that you're well capable of assuming. And I know that you're going to bring your personality, your experiences, your business experience from your day jobs, those kinds of things, into NFPA in a different way. And that's going to help NFPA move forward. I think change sometimes is good. And after 5 years, it's a good thing, I think, for me to step aside, kind of use all of my ideas and to bring you in. And I'm so happy that we've had this opportunity to kind of close out the Coffee with Caregiver season for 2021 by introducing you, by allowing people the opportunity to see who you are, not only what you look like, but who you are in your heart. And you've expressed that so very well. I think your story about how you became a foster parent is awesome, because I think it just happens all the time around this country with so many families. Mamas want to do it, and the daddies are like, I don't know about that, and they kind of get drugged to the classes because now everybody's got to go to all of them pretty much. And then they start experiencing what foster care really is, and not what they've read in the papers or the horror stories or any of that stuff, but the true meaning of fostering, of bringing hope for the future to children and families, because that's what foster care does. And to be a part of being able to do that is amazing. It's more than I've had people say before, I can't express what it's like to be a foster parent. Nobody will ever understand. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's the best thing I've ever done. We hear that all the time. And so how do you talk about something that can be really hard sometimes? And you question yourself, do I even know what I'm doing? To those times when you're just so full, you're overflowing with love and gratitude to these kids and their families for giving you the opportunity to help them get back together and become a family again, or move a child into an adoptive family who's waiting for them. So I think the future is so darn bright. And like I say, I just have every way I can. I will support you and the association moving forward. But I'm not going to get in your way. I promise you that. I've got lots of other irons in the fire that I'm going to have some fun after this, and hopefully do some meaningful things as well. I thought we might just briefly say that in the new year, January, for sure, there will be, I guess, what we're going to call the best of the best from the last 80 or 85 sessions, however many it's been that we've had of Coffee with Caregivers. We're going to give Arnie some time to hire a new staff person as his administrative coordinator, because our administrative coordinator is also retiring at the end of this year. And a big shout out to Sharon Holman for the tremendous job she's done over the last 5 years. And I can't thank her enough for joining me in this endeavor to be the staff for the NFPA. But Arnie needs to find his Sharon and get up to speed into kind of everything that we're doing. And Sharon and I'll be here to support them through that. But it takes time to do Coffee with Caregiver episodes, to identify guests, to plan when we're going to do the episodes, get them, prepared and loaded for Facebook and all of those things. So we're going to take a break in January, and it might even be February. I don't know yet. But that's up to Arnie and the board of directors on how they want to handle that. But I want you to know that every week you will find an episode on Tuesday mornings that it was kind of got the best reviews and great rave reviews from those who watched when it was initially aired. The other thing is, as Arnie said, he wants to hear from you. He wants to know what you're thinking. Tell him the good stuff and the bad stuff, okay? But the only way the board of directors can determine direction, right? Programs. Where do we put the resources? What resources do we need? How do we go about finding out what those are? How do we go about getting them if we don't know what it is you need? We have to hear from you. Arnie is your conduit to the board of directors. Certainly speak up in your state if you're a part of your state foster parent association, and hopefully they're a part of the National Foster Parents Association's Council of State Affiliates. The Council of State Affiliates serves as an advisory group to the National Board of Directors. So you have lots of opportunities to provide information that hopefully can make its way to the board. But Arnie's your direct contact there, and he's a very good listener. And, I know that he will take your thoughts and ideas and provide those to the board of directors. They're going to be doing some strategic planning early in 2022, probably in March. And so, get your ideas in now. If you've got some specific ones, Arnie can take them to the strategic planning meetings and really set some things in motion to have some new things happen or improve things that we are currently doing. So to do that, the email that's best is you can send to Arnie at nfpaonline.org, or you can send an email to the info, the general address of the NFPA at info@nfpaonline.org. Both ways it'll get to Arnie. He'll pay attention to what you have to say. Arnie, I think our time is about up. So any closing words that you might have for folks?
No, other than to say that thank you, Irene, for all you've done for the National Foster Parent Association. Certainly enjoy this next phase of your life, and to all the members of the National Foster Parent Association and those listening today on Coffee with Caregivers. I welcome your comments, the interface with you, and I will continue to work hard to listen to you and to do what I can to connect you to resources, services, training, whatever we know to be available to assist you in your journey and caring for America's kids. Thank you.
Well said. So everybody, again, thank you so much for being a part of Coffee with Caregivers over the last couple of years. And I hope that you will look forward to the new episodes in 2022 when they start running. But always, if you missed any of the other ones, be sure and watch, because you're going to get some really good information. You can always go to our website. They're all archived on the homepage of our website. So you can listen to as many of these as you want. And then we would be remiss if we didn't wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and just an incredible 2022. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to you in partnership with our friends at United Healthcare. For more information about United Healthcare, please visit www.uhc.com.